Okay, here we go. Match number 3. We got Brett Mapstone of Edmonton against Tim Wiseman of Edmonton,
also known as Weisberg.
Yeah, this will be a contrast in two different type of players, where Brett, he just gets up and he's a wheeler, and Timmy, he's more the technical set, pace, nice smooth and roll.
Yeah, Brett throws really hard.
Yeah. And he doesn't take a lot of time. Brett, I have talked to him at one time. The reason why he does that is because he doesn't like to let his mind kind of catch up to him. He just wants to just throw, get the feel and roll.
Some guys need to stand out there for 2 minutes and think about the shot. Other guys just want to get her done.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't really have a shot clock here, so players can take as much time as they need to.
So Tim will take advantage of this frame, use it to kind of get loose and free, being he only needs to beat 10. So, but he's still going to want to try and execute, throw good, try and get his timing early. Seven count split.
Yeah.
Tim is actually our Autumn Open champion, his first cash tournament win.
What did he throw his last game to win?
420, I think.
420.
Hey, it cost me a little bit of money there.
It was quite interesting when he threw the 420. The neat thing about it was the gentleman he played was the alternate to make it here, Mark Miller, who also shot a 400.
Yeah, I think it was 420 to 405 or something like that.
Something to that effect. Yeah, that's that in itself is quite. We as players. We don't see a lot of 400s thrown, and to have 2 of them thrown in the same match, that really kind of makes our game look really good.
Yeah, that was the last game of the tournament.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Tim gave it his all. And at the time, because there was an error in scoring, Tim had thought he had finished second. Maybe that might have been a positive for him, because it gave him an opportunity not to think about it, and he just freewheeled.
Good solid player through all the events. Participates in all the events. Travels to all the events.
And he's also one of the proprietors to one of our sponsors.
The proprietor in Sherwood Park.
Sherwood Park Bowl. Him and his younger brother and his mom and dad. They own the center there and they have been a great induction to us. They have... Tim especially has put in countless hours of work to see our game advance, and that's the neat thing, is seeing some of the younger people starting to put all the effort in behind it.
So as a proprietor, that's probably all he does is bowl all day long.
Far from it. It's funny. Most of the proprietors that I've known that played in the game, and we would all think that they're so good because they got to practice in their own centers. A lot of them because they put so much time in at their centers with the work. A lot of times they don't want to practice. They don't want to be around the bowling center once they're done.
So we got Tim Wiseman with first 2 frames, and then Brett just throwing the strike, so forcing Tim to throw a strike to match it.
Yeah, so like I said before, Tim was the Autumn Open champion. Brett didn't win any tournaments, but he was really consistent throughout the year. He was 9th in points, and Tim was 7th in points. So Brett was a little more consistent throughout the tournaments.
Okay, so Brett won his first frame now, so it's now 2 frames to 1 for Tim. And close in pinfall as usual.
I just want to take a minute to recognize our sponsors for the Western Canadian Bowling Tour: the Karen Pilon Organ Donor Foundation, 5-Pin Universe, All-Star Bowling Sales, Bradson Promotional Group. A lot of the players are wearing the custom shirts, and A&B Express. Also to our bowling centers: the Golden Mile in Regina, Sherwood Bowl in Sherwood Park, Paradise Lanes in Calgary, and here Heritage Lanes in Red Deer.
So of the 12 competitors competing this year, we have 6 of them are from Edmonton, 2 from Central Alberta, 2 from Saskatchewan, 1 from Calgary, and 1 from Ontario. So quite an influx of good bowling coming out of Edmonton based on those numbers.
Well, it's been common thought that anytime you represent the province of Alberta, whether it be from Central Zone or from Edmonton or Calgary or whatever, it's pretty well expected that you should finish in the top two, preferably gold, which we've been very fortunate to have a lot of our teams represent us and bring back the gold. As Tim Wiseman represented Alberta this year in the men's, and their team came back with the gold. Tim was one of the competitors on it. His younger brother, or his twin brother, Dexter, another fine player out of Alberta. Evan Lecoussier, Mike Lecoussier was the coach.
I've played with Brett and Tim on an open team one year. We won nationals in 2010, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
In Winnipeg.
In Winnipeg. That's been the elusive province for me. I've been fortunate enough to travel for nationals throughout the country, and the province of Manitoba is one that I've never ever been able to participate.
Oh, really?
In the 30 years I've played, yeah.
I think I've played them all.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an accomplishment in itself. You know, we have one player that isn't here, and he no longer plays on the tour, Bruce Mortar, who is quite an exception to the game, where he got to play in every category and won a gold in every category that he could compete.
That's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yes.
All right, so we're 2 frames apiece, and Brett, unfortunately on the double, throws the head pin and counts 10. So Tim's up in the 5th frame, needing more than 10 for the frame, but he's down a little bit on pinfall. So it's an opportunity for him to square up that match for the total.
Corner.
Drop off, so 25.
So similar to golf, where it's skins game, where hole for hole, it's just frame for frame for our event here today.
$25 for every frame that you win.
And then as we go to the quarterfinals, the semis, and the finals, the money just gets bigger.
But you know, as we've all played in the game, a lot of us, the money isn't the important part. It's the prestige of winning the tournament that everybody strives for.
Yeah.
The money is just a bonus.
It's a nice little bonus, yeah.
That's right.
I always said if I go to a tournament and I can break even, I'm happy.
Right, yeah. Well, I always remembered that when I was lucky enough to do well at a tournament or win one, I always made a point of trying to buy something that would allow me the opportunity to remember that. And then when I was luckier to win my first cash tournament in Regina, it was to be able to take my family on traveling and stuff. So.
Yeah, I've bought a couch or a TV or whatever. So
Yeah.
I find sometimes you got to reward yourself for your accomplishments too.
Exactly.
Not just pay bills all the time.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
Nope.
So with that strike that Tim threw in the 6th frame, he's now got a 4 frames to 2 lead over Brett. Brett looking to get a spare here to
8 count. And that happens all too often in a house as this one is where you run in corners and stuff. Threw a good ball, just didn't necessarily get the break go his way.
Yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Or no bad luck, anyway.
Or no bad luck, that's true.
all you can hope for at the end of the tournament is that your breaks evened out. You had just as many good breaks as you did bad breaks. That's a good event for you.
For some reason, we can only remember the bad ones.
I have a lot of memories.
Well, we know that.
Good strike for Brett there to
Yep.
come back, and that was a critical time now with Tim being on a strike, just to hold the pinfall and potentially get even in the match.
know Brett said he was a little nervous, which is kind of expected for. I know these guys, it was first time on TV, so.
Oh yeah, you know, the thing is you and I would look at Brett as a very accomplished player in that, but like you say, it's a new adventure for him, being on TV, getting possibly all this exposure. That does change it, you know, it causes the adrenaline in your system to work. Sometimes that hinders your game, sometimes it'll improve your game.
I always found that sometimes I get a little too jacked up, and you still have to keep your composure a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been following Tim's career for quite a while. When my son bowled YBC, he was bowling YBC, and they were a very solid group out of Sherwood Park, and they always seemed to put up such big scores that it was basically the goal that I kept telling my kids that they needed to strive for. If we need to have success, these are the scores we need to have, because that's who they were competing against. He's been a solid player for many years, and it's nice to see these kids stay in the game and continue to have some success.
But you know, a lot of these guys that are playing and that are here, the reason why they are here is because of the mentors that they've had in the game. In the province of Alberta, we've been very fortunate. Most of our kids, we've been given the opportunity to meet them when they're young and help them through their games and work with them. And you know, Tim, one of the people that he would probably recognize is Tom Stevenson, who himself was a formidable player in his day. And Tom put a lot of time in with those kids, you know. But that being said, those kids also became what they are is because they listened. So.
Yeah, and I grew up with you two gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah, well, a lot of you guys that are playing, I look at yourself. There's Kerry Kreitz, you know, Matt Schultz,
Eric Chose,
and all these guys.
Who's in the crowd?
Yeah. You know, one of the neat things that we always have is that the 450s that we've thrown. All of us coming from Wetaskiwin. There's 5 of us now?
Yeah, Mark Jackson.
Yeah. So, you know, so it's been pretty cool that we have that kind of relationship.
Thought he had a spare there.
So Tim winning a 2-frame carryover with his spare in the 8th frame gives him 6 frames to Brett's 2. So Brett's working on trying to get the last 2 frames, 9 and 10. And
this is a typical situation when I was saying earlier, all too often, is when you have a player like Tim who is throwing well and he can put the pressure on you. It's really hard for the other person to be able to slow the game down and bring it to a pace that they're common with, eh? So I'm not too sure what that was about.
He's getting heckled in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, Tim probably deserves a lot of heckling because he tends to be pretty good at giving it out.
Yeah. He's known to being a joker, Tim is.
Yeah, he definitely likes to dish it out. He might need the extra cash here. He just moved in with his girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
He may not see any of it. Yeah. Tim needing to hit the pins to carry the win the frame. So
he cleaned up a head pin.
Yeah. So 7 frames to 2.
That goes to say, just like when we're playing in a regular match, every ball counts. Right there, that just made Tim $25. Nice roll.
That's definitely one thing you probably just want to focus on your shot. Don't worry about winning money or losing money, and just one ball at a time.
You bet.
Like you said, the most important ball is the one you have in your hand. I know you said every ball counts. That's the Saskatchewan Bowling School. That's one of their mottos is every ball counts.
I had the fortune of being able to, when Tom's school was first inducted, and been able to participate there and got to meet a lot of great coaches throughout the country that came out. Originally, when the school was started, it was meant specifically for Saskatchewan players or competitors, and then as the years went on, it got large enough that there were kids coming from, we had one year where we had kids from Nova Scotia, we had kids from Quebec,
Oh, wow.
Ontario and that came out, participated, and then through that, Sean was able to help a couple of the other provinces to promote their youth schools and strong. And now we're looking at trying to get the sport of bowling into the schools systems and that through Sport Canada. So with all of those things coming on, hopefully our game will just do nothing but get better.
And this type of event, this bowling tour that they've put together, is only going to help that too. It's going to encourage the young players to play more and be rewarded and be
Get the recognition.
Yeah, exactly. So 45 for Brett in the 10th frame, gives him a 211, 3 frames, and 3 frames.